I ain't gonna worry about it.
I hear you. This is all new. We'll all learn.
Yeah. Hey, Shell.
All right, there, all of my people. How's everybody doing?
So far, so good.
Yep.
Uniforms, cameras are on. You got some fish?
Yep.
Yep.
So we're gonna do two. So you probably have two round fish and your flat fish, right? Or did you just have one round? Do you have snapper, your red snapper?
Yes.
I have, the red snapper and the flounder.
Or sole?
Or
Is that a sole?
Yeah. The flat one. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do, okay, before we do anything, especially with fish, we want to make sure that we're being safe and sanitary, and especially sanitary. And fish is, seafood has some extra bacteria and extra toxins and stuff that we don't generally find with beef, or, chicken will make people really sick, but fish will make people really, really, really sick, or can. And so let's take a minute. And if you need to get maybe a little bowl that has some warm, slightly soapy water, if you have a bowl, if you've got bleach nearby, this is not necessarily a restaurant approved thing, but a bowl with, one or two or three drops of bleach in the water, then you've got a good sanitizer. So let's start off with a timeout and take 5 or 10 minutes if you need to get something nearby so that you can sanitize as we go. That is going to be very important. And we're back. Okay. I'm gonna assume that everyone has their Mercer knife kit. Find your, Brenda's already holding hers up right there. Find your, it's really a cross between a boning knife and a fillet knife. But it has this little indentation right in front of the bolster. It is saying, yes, that's it. It's a little bit flexible. Here's a real fillet knife. It's really, really thin. and it is super flexible. But I'm going to use the same thing that you have so that we're all speaking the same language. And hopefully in your knife kit, you've got shears. You have your shears somewhere nearby. They're not absolutely essential, but they're going to be helpful in this first step. On the cutting board that you're going to use kind of right now, get your snapper out, the red fish. We're going to do that first. And I'm going to move my camera. I'm going to go to a different camera so you can see. Boom. Everybody see that, Rob? Look at that ugly old fish. So when we're buying fish, you want the fish to smell. Is going to be a little bit on the fishy side. If it's coming out of the ocean, it ought to smell like the ocean. And if you've ever been in, near, or around the ocean, if you're not used to it, and those of us that are landlocked in Arkansas aren't really used to it, except maybe vacation or something, it has an unusual scent. If you if you grew up and lived on the coast somewhere, coastal people will call it fresh. That's the same thing to me as describing the taste of an orange. It tastes like sunshine. Well, I've never licked the sun, so I don't know what sunshine means. But and fresh, I think we all understand what bad fish smells like. Two things. If the smell makes you want to throw up, that's probably bad. And if the smell has a little hint of ammonia, the fish is already starting to decompose. And that's the release of uric acid. And so if you get a little burn in the back of your nose, like you're smelling ammonia, even if it's slight, don't eat that fish. Notice at least my snapper, it came out of the freezer about 2:30 today. And so I've had it in cool water, trying to thaw out. The head's still frozen a little bit, which is fine. We're not going to cut into the head. But notice the eyeball. Okay. A good sign of fresh fish is a clear eye. Okay. Even if this has been frozen, which this has, if that eye is clear, is probably pretty good. And then that unusual smell that you're smelling is just the smell of fish. Now, pay attention to this on my fish, and then in a few minutes, whenever I show you my sole, my sole's already going south. And so I'll show you the eyeball, and the eye is cloudy. If the eye is cloudy, you never want to purchase that fish. That's fish that's already old. So there you go. Just keep that in mind. A little bit of exterior anatomy. The backbone, where do you think the backbone is? Tell you, the backbone is not here. The vertebra of the fish is not here. It's running right down the middle. And so the fish is swimming like this, and the vertebra runs right in the center in here. And so coming up off of the vertebra and then coming down are the rib bones, the rib cage. And so we're going to follow the rib cage around, kind of like taking the breast off a chicken. Okay. Several fins. This main fin that fish use to swim, their tail, and the pectoral fin. Okay. The pectoral fin is kind of in the way. And so that's where I want to use my shears. and I'm going to cut that away. Now you can save this for stock, I guess, if you want. But I'm just going to put it in the waste and let that go away. I'm going to take the pectoral fin off of both sides. And you probably have one side where it's already cut into, where they opened up the cavity to gut it. Underneath the pectoral, right at the bottom, this is the pelvic fins. Just know that that's there. We're not going to cut down that far. There's not really any meat right up here. So that can stay. Here in the back, there's one kind of spiny fin. This is the anal fin. We don't necessarily have to cut that off, but I will if you want to as well, just more or less for convenience. And when I cut this off, I'm going to cut it as close to the body as I can. And that's going to open up. It's going to make it easier whenever I pull the fillets off of each side down here at the bottom. And I'm going to just trim it all the way up to the cut. So see how I've cut the skin, and you can feel where you've removed that anal fin. You can feel bones in there. Okay. The tail doesn't matter. Some people remove, so the front part of the dorsal fin is called the spiny dorsal. We're not going to do anything with that either, but just know that these quills, it's pretty tough. They're sharp, and you don't want to go poking your fingers there. The backside, it's made up of the same material, but they're really small, almost like cartilage. This is the soft dorsal back here. We're not going to worry about that. In fact, I want to keep this to kind of give me a guide where I'm going to start my cut. We're going to start the cut on the dorsal side of the fish. Okay. Now, some people work with the fish. They start away from them, and some people start with the fish, the back of the fish, or the dorsal side of the fish towards them. You'll get the feel for this for yourself. Whichever one you want to do is fine. I'm going to work with, I'm right-handed. I'm going to start with the head on my left side with the dorsal fins towards me instead of away from me. I'm going to get rid of these shears. We're not going to use the shears again. Now, again, I'm going to use the same knife that you have. It should be sharp. The problem that people have trying to fillet fish is not using a utensil that's sharp enough. And so I'm just going to go on the assumption that y'all haven't used this very much, if at all, since you bought your knives, which means this is probably going to be pretty dang sharp. And it needs to be. I'll give you a second to wash your hands and respond if you need to. Do we need to stop or break for a minute for anyone to hone or sharpen their knife? I see Ariel and I see San. Y'all are shaking your head no. So Brenda, give me a thumbs up in your, okay, good. So we're sharp enough, we're gonna go. Okay. Juanita, your camera's not on, so I'm just gonna assume that everybody's knives are sharp. Okay. I'm gonna take my thumb and I wanna lift for a minute where the gills are. Okay. Just to kind of visualize the gills, but this was the pectoral, this little joint. There's the pectoral fin that we just cut off. Okay. Right at that pectoral fin and right where the gills are, I want to make an incision until I feel bone. Okay. Just like chicken, we don't want to cut through the bone. Don't ruin your knife. With the curved side of my blade, this front third of the knife generally the sharpest. And so I want to use this, okay, right above the dorsal fin. I want to cut through the skin. Now, as best as you can, one continuous motion. Don't saw it. As you saw, you're going to tear the skin and go all the way to the tail fin, all the way to the tail and stop. I don't remember the video that is in this class, but there's a lot of videos that would have you cut just before the tail. We're not going to make an incision here. Do not do that. Okay. Now, where you just cut, in the same way that you learned how to take the breast carcass of the chicken, we want to kind of do the same thing. You're going to use your thumb to gently pull up the flesh, and exactly where you cut before, you're going to follow that same line with the front, probably 15% of the knife. Okay. Pull up just a little bit more. I want the knife to be angled down just a little bit because I want to carve basically right against the bone without cutting the bone. And keep following. Notice how I do one sweeping motion. Got that place where the fin was. Cut around where the fin was. All the way down to the opening where they gutted the fish. Now look, I'll wait for a minute and let you catch up. See how I have the tail still attached? Now it's off camera, but I'm going to do this right here. So I'm going to move my fish down. I have another little board right here, and I'm going to fold. I want you to see how I do this. Tail, I've cut back to the tail. I'll give you a second till you get to here. When you get to here, just stop. And fold the meat back. Fold it back over the tail. Have one whole fillet. You can kind of feel too to see if you have any bones. Don't cut it yet. Because what I'm going to do, I want to use the whole carcass that's going to help me out. Okay. I want to gently just make an incision down to the skin. See, I'm on the underside of the fish now. Okay. I should be really sharp. And I did not do that very well. And all I'm doing is taking the meat off of the skin. And my board's not lined up very well, so I didn't get that very nice. This is a fish that we do kind of want to remove the skin. And so with this little bit of skin that's left, I'm going to treat that kind of like the tendon on our pork or beef tenderloin.
I have a holy mess.
Okay.
I guess I must have sawed instead of, I don't know, it's crumbly.
Yeah, then you were sawing.
Yeah, it didn't turn out right. Yeah.
Now, there are fish tweezers in the event that there's some bone left in. A lot of times there are. I don't have fingernails. If you've got good, strong fingernails, you may be able to get the bone out with good fingernails. I'll show you right up here in the camera. Maybe you can see there's a bone right there. Want to remove that. I didn't get the tweezer.
Yeah. This is not even resemble a fillet.
There we go. Hold it up, San, or yeah, just hold it up. What did you end up with?
It's horrible.
Well,
It's in crumbs. It's in pieces.
have you ever done this before?
No.
Well, okay.
Oh.
It's a right.
But I'm not used
though.
to not doing stuff the right way.
So, look, Linda, look, Linda, listen, Linda, look. I'm gonna pull that skin back up and I'm gonna turn the fish over and look at what I have. One more whole fillet. So I get to practice it all over again.
Oh, God. Help me, Lord.
This is going to be in reverse. I like to work with the dorsal fin towards me. So now I've got the head on the right side. And I'm going to do the same thing we did before. So I'm going to find where all the gills are and everything. And I'm going to give me a nice little cut right ahead of it. What we want to avoid is too much sawing, because the sawing is where you're going to get chopped up meat. You're going to get, who knows what you're going to get. And so from near the head, following just the top of the dorsal fin, I'm going to use the sharpest part of the knife. Notice how is one continuous motion with the knife all the way down to the tail, not sawing.
Okay.
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 I'll use my thumb.
Oh.
Doing a little bit better on the other fillet.
Yes.
I'm not.
Who was that, Brenda?
Yeah. This other side is a little more difficult. can't get a good position.
Well, that sometimes is a challenge also. Now, again, let's see if we can do this one here just a little bit better. Oh, I got a couple of bones up here. Nope. See, I usually do that as well. I am not a fish expert. But here we go. The real secret, the real key is sharp, sharp, sharp knife. Oh, I see what I did. I got a couple of bones right in here.
I still got a crumbly mess. Clearly, I haven't got the hang of this.
Of this skin, we've got the carcass, and there you go.
Well, I got carcass all right. That's the only thing I got right. And so I got to clean this up and take a picture of this mess.
Well, yeah, at least give me a picture of your two fillets or pseudo fillets.
Because this is
That
just,
as your finished picture.
you don't want the carcass, do you?
I don't care about that. If you take a picture of it, like what you're seeing right here, what you're
Yeah.
in front of you, right here, that'd be just fine. Two fillets, the carcass, skin, bing bong bang. But they had a lot of bones right up here.
Hopefully I do better with the other one because you can't even cook this.
Finish up. Wash your hands really good. Snap a picture, and
There ain't nothing you can cook over here.
that's okay. This is all about experience, right?
Yes, I know you said that, but gosh, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. On the video, it looked just like, oh, okay.
Well, that's also people that have done this once or twice.
That's true.
Okay, wash up your knives, board, clean everything off.
Lord have mercy. Yeah, that's pretty much trash.
All right. I'll give y'all a couple minutes. We'll take 4 or 5 minutes to get everything finished with this fillet and your pictures and some cleanup, and then we'll come back in a few minutes. Oh,
I do better this time. Jesus.
well, we'll see. This is going to be a little different, but the same.
Uh-oh.
Okay. The difference is with a flatfish, there are 4 fillets. With the round fish, what we just did, there are 2 fillets. That's the main, well, that's one of the differences. Okay. These fins are different. These are all real flexible. They're all kind of soft fins. Every flatfish is the same. And these fins kind of wave in the water, and that's how the fish swims. Okay. Mouth is kind of tiny. The flesh is really soft. It's not spiny. It's not scaly. You can eat the flesh, so we're not going to worry about taking the skin off. Okay. You can see a line right here. Visualize that line. Say, okay, Sand's shaking her head. Yes, she sees that line. Underneath that line is the vertebrae of this fish. That's the spine. Okay. So just exactly like taking the breasts off of chicken, we're going to make one cut all the way down that line, okay, stopping at the tail fins. We're going to make one cut. Don't saw. If you saw, you're tearing the skin, okay? So, the gills have been removed. This is where all the gut stuff is. Okay. So the fish has already been gutted. Okay. I shouldn't need to make any other cuts right around here. I'm going to start right over that spine. In the same way that you're going to split the 2 breast lobes on a chicken, right on top of that keel bone, you're going to cut through the skin. We're going to cut through the skin following that line. Okay. And you'll feel the bump, 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 bump of the vertebrae all the way down. And you should be able to, you should get that whole thing split open. Now, I keep going back to taking the breasts off of chicken. It's a very similar process. Now, what we just did, okay, exactly where I cut, okay, I'm going to use a finger and I'm going to pull back as I use just the tip of my knife, and every motion, y'all look, every motion is going to be one continuous go of the knife, not a saw. Okay, I'll pull back a little bit and repeat the same thing. Now, when I get enough in that I can pull back, you see the ribs. And if I follow those all the way down, now I've never done this part before, but I've been watching some people do this. They get a little bit started. Y'all look at this up here, okay? They get this cut in over those ribs. They get a little bit cut right where these fins are, and just tear this off the rest of the way. You've got your fillet. I personally do not like that because, well, it's actually pretty clean. It came out a lot better than I thought. Then we can come back and trim off this top part of skin. And if we do want to remove the skin from it, I've got this tail piece, and I'm going to treat this very much like the tenderloin. And the skin goes away. Now, a classical preparation of this might be rolling this up, a nice little roll, maybe put a toothpick in it just to hold it, and then poaching this in some heavily seasoned cork bouillon. Okay. When you get one fillet done, put that off to the side and do the same thing on the other side of this vertebra. And I'd like to see you go ahead and remove the meat from the skin. There's a nice little roll. We're going to get rid of the skin. Yeah, Brenda, I can see what you're doing, and right now it's looking spot on. Very good. Keep going. The rest of you, your cameras are looking at you, not at your board or your fish, and that's okay. But we'll get to try this again on the other side. We've got 2 more fillets to take out. Hey, Ariel, there you go. Yeah. So Brenda, yeah, you've got, it looks more like a strip, and, that really is, you only have real meat, usable meat in this narrow little section of fish on each side of the spine, each side of the vertebrae. And so there's really not a whole lot there. This is one of those things.
Is it not supposed?
No, it's right. Yes, it's good. This is so thin.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Not much there. If you get a sole that's, there are different kinds. There's about that we use in this business. There's about a dozen different kinds of sole. Lemon sole, Dover sole is, the most common, most popular. But they can be a little narrow instead of fully round. And the more narrow they are, the thinner, the more of a strip you get out of that. The most classical preparation for this is taking that fillet and then rolling it and poaching it just like this. Don't poach the fillet and then roll it. That's not going to happen. You'll tear it all up. It's flexible.
So this is all to expect out of this big old piece of fish?
Pretty much. And then some of you may still be working. We're going to take the sole. Flounder will be the same way. We're going to flip it over to its underside. Okay. And right just on the body side of this little pectoral fin, okay, we're going to make like a smiley face, cut through the skin around where the gills are. The gills actually on the opposite side of the fish. And then this same bone line, we're going to follow that all the way down. And we're going to repeat this whole process that we just did. And y'all are ready for this. The underside is going to be even thinner. So take your time and be careful, because this is going to end up like paper thin, just about. Before I pull the meat off the skin, I'm going to go ahead and take the other fillet off. I'm going to get rid of my carcass. Oh, I wanted to point out before, I don't know if you can see this very well. See how the eye, see how cloudy that looks? I'm not going to eat this sole at all. It doesn't smell bad like it's spoiled, but it is not a fresh fish. So observe that of your fish as well. And from the tail side, there's just so little meat. This is one of the reasons why the classical presentation and preparation of this fish is going to be rolled like this. It gives it a little more substance.
Chef, can I use this backbone meat? I
Yes.
cut it off of that right there.
Sure.
Can this? Okay. So I don't have to be concerned about this split in here. Can you see what I'm doing? That part right there? That's all edible.
Let me blow this up here real quick. Hold on just a second.
This right here. that part, it came off the back right here. It was just fleshy, feeling like there was quite a bit of meat there. So I can't eat this.
Well, I can you eat it?
I
Yeah,
can't.
that's
Do I want to?
well, it might have a little bit of a, you don't see my air quotes, it might have a little bit of an off taste compared to the rest of the meat because
Okay.
that's what we call the bloodline. And
Oh, okay.
that's a section that we're going to cut off and just completely remove, take off anyway, and waste it.
Okay.
Yeah, that should. Can you eat it though? Yes. That's the same thing as the vein. We devein shrimp.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Can you eat
okay.
the vein? Well, yeah. Do you want to?
Mm-mm.
Well,
Mm-mm.
no.
No. Okay.
But it's not bad.
All
It's not
right.
going to hurt you. If any
I'm just not gonna like it.
If any of you like fish stews, consider putting those carcasses in the freezer and use those for fish stock. Good. I'm going to do a little bitty cleanup here. Y'all keep working. Good. Keep going. Keep going, Juanita. You're on candid camera.
So I think once you did that, Chef, you made me a little nervous.
Oh, don't be. Don't be.
How to get the top of it off? Of course, I came in late. So how do I take this top part off up here?
Well, yeah, you missed that part. There, it's easiest there around where the head and the gills and stuff. You would have made an incision, kind of like a reverse smiley face. You an incision all the way around that through the skin and down through the meat. Then it will come right off.
Gotcha.
Without cutting the head off. Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I think mine is like yours. It doesn't smell too hot.
Well, we get, we'll call it E for experience, E for effort. E for experience, and we'll figure something else out about maybe this online class, and especially the fish. See, we have both in-person meat and seafood classes are on Tuesday. And last week and this week, when we're doing this fresh fish, the fish is flown in and it comes in Monday. And so if we get it Monday afternoon, it's ready for Tuesday morning and Tuesday evening's class. But that's a long time for fresh fish to set. And so for this class, your round fish should have been frozen. So when you picked it up, you should have picked it up frozen, except for Sand, because Sand goes at 3:45 in the morning every Monday morning to get her stuff. She's waiting there at the back dock. She's waiting at the gate for PD to come and unlock and open the gate. And so she was already there with the fish when it came in fresh. Fresh fish, y'all need to remember this for your future in the business. Fresh fish needs to come in no sooner or later than day before or day of use. I'm a day before person. Day of use can be a little bit scary, especially for somewhere like Arkansas. We're trusting it's Chef X, which is kind of a FedEx type chef service. Very, very expensive. And it's a premium price for us. We're not in Boston, where there's a pier. We're not in San Francisco, where there's a pier, and fishermen are out all night, and restaurateurs are on the pier early in the morning, 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, where the fish is coming off the boats that was just caught overnight. And they're buying the fish that morning that they will use that afternoon in their restaurants. And it's packed on ice and it's delivered. That's kind of a daily process there. Landlocked, we have to get it flown in. Y'all don't ever stop off at the roadside where there's the pickup truck that's an 1872 pickup truck that has a sign on it that says fresh Gulf shrimp. That fresh Gulf shrimp in Morrilton, Arkansas, from the back of a pickup truck, that fresh shrimp was probably a week ago. It was fresh then, or it was 3 or 4 or 5 days ago. It was fresh then, or it was fresh when it went in the freezer. Don't ever trust stuff like that. Seafood that you buy should have almost a sweet smell to it, certainly not an ammonia smell to it. If it really smells bad to you, or if it's whole fish and the fish has cloudy eyes, I avoid those. That's my personal opinion to you. Now, the only thing from an experience standpoint as an online meat and seafood class, the one thing that we're going to miss that the in-person classes are getting, I think next week you're going to be peeling and deveining a bunch of shrimp. I hope you have some use for shrimp at home. You won't be shucking oysters. You may get some scallops. You may get some mussels to debeard, and we'll cover that next week. You might get another chicken or two. I don't remember off the top of my head. I know this week you got 2 chickens. There is
Yes, we did.
a lab assignment. There's not a lab place for you to do anything with the chicken. But I'm asking you, you got 2 chickens. I want you to practice exactly what we did for the midterm practical exam. I asked for a 4-piece cut and I asked for an 8-piece cut. Okay. That really is, those are good skills to have. So the 4-piece cut, I want airline breasts. So you're really you should do 6 pieces because you're going to take the flat and wingette, the wing tip off of both sides, but you're going to leave the drumette attached, an airline breast.
Mm-hmm.
French that airline breast, French the bone of that drumette. You're going to scrape, use the back side of your knife and kind of scrape the little bit of meat down closer to the larger breast meat. Okay. And then you're going to take off the leg and thigh quarter, keeping that attached, the whole leg and thigh quarter. There's our 4-piece, 2 airline breasts, 2 leg and thigh quarters. With the other chicken, we want a classical 8-piece. And one of these days, I'm probably going to tell you a classical 8-piece, and in parentheses, I'm going to put 10 pieces. So here's a little, guess what I might be thinking whenever I say classical 8-piece, but in parentheses, I really mean 10. Where's the other 2 pieces? So you got 2 breasts, you got 2 wings, you've got 2 legs, you've got 2 thighs. There's your 8-piece. Where's the other 2 pieces to make it? Yes, Ariel called it. It's the tenders.
The tenders.
Yeah, the tenderloins is right behind the breast. So that's what I'd like you to do. I would like you to do with the other chicken. Okay, so a 4-piece and an 8-piece. And you know, I'm not after pictures. It's just a little bit more practice. You're getting the same product that the in-person classes have. And there's so much chicken because we use so much chicken at the culinary school. You just get a whole bunch more chicken to put in your freezer, and baked chicken and roast chicken. And it's a little warm today. It's kind of warm the next couple of days, but I was telling my wife last night, I'm starting to feel like chicken and dumplings. I don't know about y'all people over there, but I love me some chicken and dumplings. And I do the Amish style dumplings, which are kind of rolled out and cut and almost like doughy, thick noodles. That's good chicken and dumplings right there, y'all.
I air fried some last night.
Do you like air fry?
Oh, yes. It doesn't, I don't have all, and it's crispy, just like I deep fried it. I love it. Just drizzle a little olive oil, and the trick is I put a little bit of baking soda in with my flour and my seasonings, and it just fries up just like you fried it in the skillet in the hot grease. Well,
if you like the air fry, I'm happy. I'm happy for you.
I love it.
But really, air fry is a nice tabletop appliance to have, which is nothing more than a convection oven. An air fryer is convection oven. Mm-hmm. If you're like me and your oven is conventional.
I do. I have one. Mm-hmm.
Then, you know, that's a good appliance to have. A good convection oven is going to cost you $5,000. Mm-hmm. But a good air fryer is going to cost you $300-400. Yeah. 200.
Yeah.
You know,
mine probably cost, I got mine years ago, so it's probably like, I probably paid $100 from Sam's, but I got the big one.
Big?
Yeah, I got the big one.
And I got my convection oven, probably 9 years ago, and it was $2,000 at that time.
Yeah, I don't know.
They were
expensive. This one came
then.
with our house. It's conventional and regular. It came with the house. We just bought it.
Yeah, I'm whenever I get my doctorate all finished, then I go back to remodeling my house here, and the kitchen's going to get all redone. And so, yeah, the convection ovens, I think it's just what I'm looking at. I want fancy stuff. I want
a gas. I hate this electric smooth top thing.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Oh,
if you want gas, we're coming into chili season. Just put beans in your chili and you're going to have lots of gas. Oh, that's not what you were talking about, was it? Well, shame
I'm
on
not
me.
muted, am I?
Shame on me.
I want that 6 burner. I want that 6 burner big gas gourmet stove. That's what I want.
This is recorded too, so I've got to give it. It's time for faculty evaluations, and so I got to give this recording to Jan, our director, and I got to give it to Renee, and so
They'll laugh too.
Some funny looks. Do you really say that in class? Oh, I say a whole lot more than that.
And we're good with it, Chef.
Yes, you are.
Good. Y'all are so patient. Hey, there is really nothing else that we have to do, or nothing else to cover. I want you to take the time that you need to really clean and sanitize your area. Get that seafood smell off your fingers and stuff like that. Clean up your area really, really well.
Okay.
The sole, you determine for yourself. Use maybe as one of your judgment calls. Is the eye cloudy or is it still clear? If it's still clear, sole, flounder are kind of near the bottom of the sea, and so they have a little bit of a strong smell. But if it's not pleasant to you and the eye is cloudy, maybe you don't want to keep that. Snapper, if your snapper look like my snapper, is probably good. If you had your snapper just in the refrigerator, holy cow, if you had it in the refrigerator for a week, then throw everything away. If you had it in the freezer and got it out to thaw today, or maybe, then do something with the snapper. Do a little research on the Google.
If I had some snapper to do something with.
Well, there's that. Look, Sam, seriously, gather up all the bits, gather up all the pieces, and consider doing a snapper croquette. You know what a croquette is?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a deep fried,
salmon croquette.
Same thing, just use snapper.
Okay.
You can use even all your chopped up bits. You can use it. Okay. One of the goals out of the culinary school is learning how to sometimes being creative. Even when something goes south, how do we recover it? How do we use it so it just doesn't plain old go to waste?
Yeah.
Like crab cakes, do some snapper cakes.
So, Chef, I have a question.
Hold on just a second, Juanita. Brenda, I'm talking right over you. What'd you say?
My soul was fine. The eyes were clear. It's just not a whole lot of meat. So can I make a sauce with this and put it over the shrimp? Over
the sole?
Piece of fish or what?
You absolutely
really
can.
Yes.
If your sole is good, then you'll want to look this up. But I recommend, it's very, very classical. It's probably, if you look up cooking sole or flounder, it's probably the first things you're going to see. Roll, like I showed you, roll each of those fillets and then poach them. Y'all remember poaching in food too.
Okay.
Poach those and then make kind of a delicate sauce, a beurre blanc a white wine, use some poaching liquid instead of stock, reduce all of that, and then mount butter. And you've got a fish, a sole beurre blanc. Season that maybe with a little lemon. Yeah, that'd be great with the sole.
Okay, thank you.
Well, mine eye was cloudy.
Your soul was? So was mine. So mine's gonna go bye-bye.
Yeah.
You were asking a question. Please ask away. Uh-oh. Did we just lose
I
her?
think we lost her. I don't see her.
Okay. I'll send her an email.
Okay. So I'm gonna try that making a croquette.
Good. Okay.
I'm gonna try that.
Good. Anything else from the peanut gallery?
Nope, this was fun.
Good.
It was fun.
Yeah, this was fun.
Terrence, if you're talking, your microphone's off. So
Now your sound is down. Your volume.
this happens sometimes with Terrence. Give me put it in the chat. I mean, if you can do that safely, we've been handling fish. If you don't go typing away on your computer keyboard with fish fingers. I can tell you're typing, so.
Jeff, what do you want us to do with the other fish?
Oh,
Great question. You're talking about the little sea bat. It's actually a branzino.
Yeah.
That dark fish that I think somebody was saying, some of you picked it up. You were told it was a grouper. It's not grouper. It's actually a branzino.
No, that was with the sole. The branzino was with the sole. The other one was supposedly have been a grouper, but mine was a bass, a yellow bass.
So,
Somebody's showing a picture of it.
No, that's right. You missed last week. So the branzino is for you to practice some more with the round fish. And so if, for example, if you didn't get like a before and after picture that we usually do for lab submission, then kind of redo while you got all your fish stuff and you're dirty and messy. Here over the next 20 minutes or so, snap a picture of your branzino before you break it down, and then break it down like we just did the snapper, and snap a picture of that for your before and after. Terrence, as soon as we get off, then the Zoom video has to process, and once that's finished, I process the video again in YouTube, and then I can upload it to Blackboard. It should be up tonight. As quick as that happens, I don't want to say for sure, because sometimes it really depends on YouTube, however busy YouTube might be. I've got almost 6:45 right now. Maybe it'll be up by 8 or 8:30. Maybe it'll be up closer to 10 or 10:30. So if you're waiting right now for to go back and review the video, you might have to wait till tomorrow. Or I hope you're a night owl. Juanita, welcome back. I know that you were wanting to ask a question before, and
yeah, Headphone issues. So my question is, I have a fish here that has not been gutted or scaled.
Correct. That's the branzino.
Okay.
Oh,
So I can talk you through gutting.
Okay.
It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
Gross. But we've done enough in this class and in culinary school that you shouldn't be too squeamish about gross. Where that soft belly is, the white part underneath, right in the dead center of it, you take your knife and slice it open. You don't have to slice it the entire, because you've got the pelvic fins right on the very bottom, and you've got the anal fin on the bottom in the back, just underneath the tail. So you're going to slice the skin open from the pelvic fins to the anal fin, just with your fingers. Hold that and scrape out all the goop. Kind of like deveining shrimp. I prefer doing that under some cool running water. So kind of do that around your sink. Now, as far as the scales go, that is a dirty, messy job. And you have really different chefs feel differently about this. There's kind of two schools of thought. One, you've got to scale it. And the way you remove the scales, you can use your knife, the back end or the sharp part of the knife. I would prefer the back end. And against the scales, the scales run one way. So you want to run that back end of your knife kind of at an angle and underneath the opposite direction than the scales lie. And you're just going to back and forth. And you're going to get scales on the floor, all over you, all over the table. Scales go everywhere.
That's an outside job.
For a lot of you, if husbands, if y'all go fishing and, you catch bring the crappie home and you got to do that. You got to do that. It's a nasty job. It's a dirty job. But there's another option. If you scale it, you completely remove all the scales, you can eat the skin. And that's why we want to remove the scales. You don't want to eat the scales. They don't hurt you, but that's a really bad mouthfeel. That's kind of like you didn't peel the shrimp and you're just going to crunch on the shrimp, shell and all. You don't want to peel. If you don't want to remove the scales, as we have done with the two fish this evening, you can cut the fillets off of the skin entirely. Now, let's talk about that for just a second. If you remove fish meat from the skin, that meat can be fish is very flaky. Fish is very tender. Fish that remains with the skin on stays intact longer. Salmon, tuna, you can score the skin to give it a really nice presentation, to skin really well. But if that skin stays on, that meat is not going to flake away or fall apart as quickly or as easily. If you remove it entirely from the skin, then it's just the meat, and it's so flaky, it's very, very easy for it to fall apart. If y'all remember food 2, when we talked about poaching, and we poached salmon. Salmon is a denser fish than what we're playing with last week and this week. The fish we're playing with right now is very, very delicate. And if you're going to poach it, which is very classical, that water temperature or the poaching liquid, the court bouillon temperature, is very, very significant. It's got to be that 140 to 160 range, and go above that. We go above 165 or so, and we're going to hit a simmer. And at a simmer, you're going to have little bubbles, and bubbles are going to cause the water to move just a little bit, and that movement is going to break the fish apart. So that was kind of a long explanation to go back to Juanita's original question for all of you. If you want to use that branzino to gut it, let the cavity open from the pelvic fins to the anal fin, and scoop it out in a bowl of water or under cool running water. Makes it a little cleaner, a little easier. And then scaling it with the back end of your knife, the spine of your knife, or remove the meat from the skin is kind of your call.
Well,
Chef, I've always used a spoon to scale.
Spoon. Great.
I use a spoon.
Use a spoon.
I have more control. I can.
Great.
Go ahead.
There are scalers. It's a handheld device, and it's almost like a little box, and you just scrape, and it collects the scales inside that little box. The box is kind of a plastic box that you throw away and then put all that in the dishwasher. It's good to go. Juanita, did that answer your question at all?
Yes, sir, it did.
Great. What else? Anybody? Well, I see San already getting ready to vacuum seal her stuff. I'm familiar with those boxes, that box and those wrappers. I do the same thing. So vacuum seal, save for another day, or have some fish today or tomorrow. Do something with this fish now that we've done it. Either put it in the freezer or cook it by tomorrow night. Enjoy. Have a great night. As always, text,
Thank you.
email.
Bye-bye.
Nighty night, one and all.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Nighty night.